Welcome back to the show, everybody. This is the Upper Tier Podcast. It's Monday night. We are back on our normal routine again. It's the Monday mashup. Joining me, as always, our resident referee, live from Stockley Park in West Dublin. How are you, Marky?
How are you, cuz? Thanks for having me back on. Sorry I missed last week, but parental
No
duty's
bother.
called.
No bother at all. These things do happen. But before we get going, let's have a word from our sponsors. Marky, talk to the people. Hogan Elite Trophy, who are our sponsor for the Monday mashup this season.
Yeah, busy week. So last Thursday night, I think I mentioned it a few weeks ago, I was with Dennis Irwin and Clayton Blackmore for an event last Thursday night out in Tim Young's in Ballyfermot. I was something else. Oh, Jesus. So myself and my mate Billy got there about 7:15. The lads came into the room before the crowd came up and we got a few things signed. So they done a Q&A then. Lads were getting pictures with the trophy. They done a Q&A with an MC, and then they went off for a break and half four and come on. So during the break, myself and my mate Billy Browner, who organises it, Dennis Irwin and Clayton Blackmore went to this area out the back, and we had a few points together and a few stories were told, and they brought platters in and stuff. So, but then Clayton Blackmore got a phone call. He was chatting, so it was me, Billy, and Dennis just sitting there having a few points, just chatting away. It was unreal. Like, he's telling us stories about covering the World Cup for RTE in 2002 and a few stories about Dunphy, which I won't I won't say here for legal reasons. But it was class. I sent you a few pictures and that. I got a little soundbite for the show and stuff like that as well. So it was a great night. Everyone got pictures with the trophies and they were all delighted. Al Forum was delighted to have his pictures. He came in after he finished his set. He came into us, so the six of us were there. He got his picture with the trophies and he was like, "Oh, tag me on Insta and all." So I put up a post there today, tagged him on Instagram, so hopefully he gets it. But he's a busy week now. He's gone off to the Tyson Fury fight. He's working a few things with Tyson and John Fury and stuff like that. So it's been a productive week and we're still available. So if you have any parties or whatever coming up, just go onto Instagram, Facebook, or call me on WhatsApp or send me a message.
There you go. And it's brilliant. They're absolutely brilliant. You can see with the events and stuff like that, the difference that they make and stuff. It's always great crack and stuff like that,
Well, it's so great. Like myself and my mate Billy were sitting there. That's kind of his first experience, and he was sitting there looking at all the lads getting a picture taken, and some of the women there were getting it. But all the lounge boys and the bar staff and all were up getting their pictures taken during the interval of the show, and all. So it was pretty cool. Like,
very good. Richie's in. How we doing? What's up, fellas? How we all doing? We're all doing good.
How are you, Richie? All right, buddy?
We did the mash, the potatoes. We're doing the Monday mashup, absolutely. And Baz is in. Baz is back after his holidays. He had a lovely week in Lanzarote. He's
nice one,
now.
Baz.
What's the crack? All good, Baz. How are you this evening? I was talking to Baz earlier. Myself and Baz are off to the Royal Rumble in Tampa at the end of January. We got tickets last week.
Nice
myself,
one.
Baz and Grimo, absolutely.
Happy
Liverpool,
day.
Spurs, and Man United represented.
Are you going to go down to Mr. Hogan's shop?
I think we are. I think the plans do that, and he has a bar down there now. Him and Flair, I think, are partners in a bar. Don't know whether that's a good thing or a bad thing.
Karaoke, doesn't he have his own drink or sports drink out or energy drink or something, Ric Flair?
They all do. I actually ordered today that the new whiskey, the Bill Shankly one that St. Patrick's Distillery are doing. I think they're based down in Cork, ready, but they're doing a commemorative bottle of whiskey by Bill Shankly, so it's pretty cool. So I ordered a bottle. Round's in as well. Round, hey, what's up, lads?
Top whiskey Round's in. He must have known you were going to tell a story about drinking.
I was talking about whiskey. There you go. Right, let's start. Premier League review. No better place to start. Liverpool, Merseyside derby. Liverpool 2, Everton 0. Ashley Young could feel hard done by with the sending off. I think I did a match reaction to it, and I also think Kanate was kind of lucky to stay on.
Very lucky. Yeah, but to be honest with you, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, what I was going to say, I was thinking Liverpool probably would have preferred it at 11 versus 11 or 10 versus 10, to be honest, because it kind of killed the game a little bit. But of course, Mo Salah popping up with both goals, one a penalty and the other one then was a brilliant breakaway goal. Darwin Núñez feeding it to Mo Salah and Mo Salah doing the business.
I don't like when I initially seen it. I thought Ashley Young won the ball, but you see it again. He's gone through the player to win the ball. It goes out for the corner. But even so, like you're on a yellow card that early into the game, you can't be making challenges like that, you know. So, and Kanate again, very very lucky to have stayed on. I felt, you know, you see the Jota sending off a few weeks ago, how easy those 2 yellow cards were. There's a stonewall, two cautions that are sending off there, and it wasn't given. So again, it goes back to consistency, which we haven't been getting, as we well know.
Yeah, well, that's what I was saying on the match reaction. I was saying, look, if we're going to keep the energy on the Jota sending off, we have to keep the same on the Ashley Young one as well. Because I thought it was really harsh, and a lot of people thought the first one was harsh. I thought the second one was harsh as well, because I thought he genuinely went for the ball. He didn't go through the player; he was in from the side and stuff like that. And Diaz just got there quicker on the ball, and he just clipped him on the foot, you know. But it wasn't malicious or anything like that. You know what I mean? Like it's again, as you'd say, you know, it's just
But even at that, listen, if you're going to do that, you're going to ask the referee questions, and you shouldn't be at that stage in the game and already on a yellow card. You shouldn't be making challenges like that, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Jack is in as well. That beautiful trophy is ours in May.
If you want to rent it, Jack, if you want to rent it, it's no problem.
It'll be mine either way. It'll still be there in May, regardless of what city or anyone else does. Anyway, let's move on. Bournemouth 1, Wolves 2. Good comeback here from Wolves. Solanke getting the early goal, but Lewis Cook getting sent off. Mateus Cunha had equalised just before that on 47, just after half time, and Sasa Kalasic getting the winner.
The winner.
Huang with the assist, Pedro Neto with the assist. Pedro Neto linked to yourselves this week as well. Don't know if you've seen that. That's a big result for Wolves, wasn't it? Bournemouth in serious trouble, though, aren't they?
Big time, especially taking the lead. But like Gary O'Neill went there knowing what the situation is against his old club, and he knew how to play against them. I think the goal was probably not in his plans to be going from behind, but they done it all the same, and obviously the sending off helped as well. So. A vital 3 points for Wolves, but like I said, they've been playing good stuff. I've mentioned them a few times this season. They're playing good stuff and not getting anything out at times, but they thoroughly deserve to win there. Bournemouth, they're going to be in trouble.
Ted's I think it was a very harsh second yellow to give. I know there shouldn't be a difference. It's either a yellow or it's not, but second yellow meaning sending off feels like a warning. Could have been given. Yeah, and we spoke about this, Ted. We spoke about it on the Jota one as well, about referees. They should be more proactive and stuff like that. You missed out, Mark, actually, last week. I did a great slide on Pierluigi Collina and all the stuff he did and how he used to prep for games. He used to learn the teams off by heart. He used to go back and look at their style of play and how they play. He was fluent, I think, in 4 languages or something like that and all. And he put in massive amounts of pre-game work before he went and refereed these games.
He done his homework on the games and stuff
really,
like that.
Really important. But spot on, Ted. That's how I seen it as well.
But tell as well at the same time, Ashley Young is an experienced player. He should know, not to be trying to make those challenges already been on a yellow card in such an important game, you know.
Yeah, just to let you know, in the game at the moment, still 1-0 to Spurs. Son with the goal on 36 minutes. Lovely finish from Son. They have had a good few chances as well, Spurs. Fulham really struggling this year, Marky, with I'm sure Marco Silva's probably feeling like maybe, or maybe Fulham are feeling maybe like they should have let him go to Saudi that time when he got the offer. Who knows, but not great. Keith in, I feel bad for Endo. Klopp doesn't seem to want to give him a run in the team, and he's our most natural CDM. We can't keep Alexis McAllister in the number 6 for the rest of the season. I suppose the issue there, Keith, is if he plays Endo in the 6, and I'm not disagreeing with you in any way, because you'll probably see Endo playing on Thursday in the Europa. But what the issue is who if you play Endo on the 6, who do you sit down? Because you're going to have to either sit down McAllister, Gravenberch, or Dominic, and you're not sitting down Dominic. Gravenberch looks sensational at the moment. He looks really good at the moment as well. So I don't know. It's a bit of a headache. It's a bit of a headache that's great now. It's a good headache.
I was just going to say that's a very good headache.
Yeah, but I think we'll see more of Endo. I think as the season progresses, you'll see more of him. I think it just needs a bit more. I think Klopp is trying to develop a bit of a bite about him. I always say with a 6 and a CDM, you kind of need a bit of a bastard in that thing. And Endo just seems like a nice guy, and I think Klopp commented on it before. Jack saying 1st November is City's funeral. I don't know about that. I'm gonna put that Spurs game on now. Yeah, it's decent.
I'm hoping I'm hoping City's wake will be next Sunday, but I can't see that happening.
Yeah, we'll do a preview for that during the week at some stage. Brentford 3, Burnley 0. The goals from Vissa, Mbuemo, and Guedes.
Great, no, they don't. I feel sorry a bit for Burnley. I can't see them staying up. I think 1 point so far as it goes. Is that what I read?
Yeah, really bad. Yeah,
it's not looking good. And listen, Brentford started off on the front foot, played well. With I think Mbuemo got an assist. Actually, talking of Brentford, see Tony scored in a behind closed doors friendly there during the week.
Saying that, yeah.
Yeah. So hopefully God knows where he'll be, but hopefully it'd be good to see him back on the football pitch in front of the fans in the coming future. But yeah, listen, great win for Brentford. I was happy because Nathan Collins and my team, I put him in there instead of Saliba, and he got me extra points. So you can't say fairer than that.
Yeah, absolutely. Big win for Brentford as well. It was badly needed as well, but tough times for Burnley at the moment. You'd fear a little bit for Vincent Kompany's job at the moment, wouldn't you? It's just not
You do, yeah. Like you look at it, and like we mentioned on this program before, they do try to play football, but at times you think get back to the nitty gritty and just try to stop teams from playing and maybe catch them on the counter rather than trying to play expansive football, which they seem to be getting caught out with a lot of the time.
Yeah, Ron, I get your point there. I honestly dropped McAllister, give Endo a chance. McAllister hasn't been great. I don't think it's a case that he hasn't been great. I think it's just he probably looks a little bit tired. Like he had a tough season last season with the World Cup and everything and all. And I think you're asking an 8 to play in a 6, and it's a different ball game and stuff like that. Now I know he's an excellent footballer, and you should be able to adjust somewhat, but he's an out and out 8. He's not a 6, and I think Klopp is trying to crowbar him in there to, have him in there with Gravenberch and Szoboszlai. And I just think it's a bad move, really. I don't think he should be playing him. I think you're right. I think, like what Keith said earlier, I think if Endo's a 6, we should play the 6. Otherwise, what the hell did we bring him in for? It just doesn't make sense to me. So, but then you can't argue some of the results have been good. Man City 2, Brighton 1. A Kanji getting sent off, which I'm sure you'll be happy about now that you're facing them.
Yeah, he's out on Sunday.
He's a good player for them as well. But the goals by Julian Alvarez, Jeremy Doku with the assist. And then Ansu Fati with a goal as well, and I think Haaland got the second, didn't he? Yeah,
Haaland got a rare goal from outside of the box. It was a great finish.
Yeah, absolutely. Ansu Fati with the consolation, but Kanji getting sent off. I thought Brighton would have went more for it.
They seemed, but they probably blew their gasket after the first half. The first half was end to end. It was fast paced. Doku was unreal, isn't he? Like he looks a talent. Another assist for him coming from the left hand side as well. But yeah, like listen, City showing that at 10 men, obviously they had to change things around. They can be kind of like you're looking at it now. If you're a United fan, probably deceive you a bit because we're thinking, Jesus, Brighton, came close at 2-1, but they can just switch it on at any time. That's the trouble with them. Any team playing against them can get caught out and led into a false sense of hope of getting something out of the game, and listen, they just turn it on. And obviously, listen, a good win. Pep will be very disappointed with the sending off and they can see it at home as well. But it should be an interesting game now on Sunday.
Yeah, absolutely. Just to let you know, there's been a goal scored there in the 54th minute. James Maddison with the goal, like we wouldn't have realised and stuff like that. So that's 2-0 the Spurs from what I can gather.
We have Song and Maddison in my team, so that's not too bad.
So that should be, I would imagine, game, set, and match. Next up, Newcastle 4, Crystal Palace 0. Palace not looking good either. They're in trouble. Saha exited the building. They look very, very blunt.
Do you know what? But still in all, I expected Newcastle to win, but I didn't expect them to win 4-0. I would have expected Palace to give them much more of a game than they actually did. Good start to the game. Trippier obviously set up Murphy for the first goal. I didn't know if he meant it at first, the loop over the goalkeeper's head, but when I seen the replay, he kind of looks up and has a look. But yeah, now they're Newcastle firing all cylinders. Obviously, we were worried about them playing in the Champions League with the balance of the Champions League and the league, but they're defying the odds and they're playing really good football and they're making changes as well. Here's Isaac and obviously Callum Wilson came on and scored, didn't he, as well near the end? I think Wilson got the fourth. Yeah, so listen, they've options all over the place. obviously missing Harvey Barnes, he's going to be out for a while, but they have lots of talent there. And but on Palace's point of view, yeah, Roy could be under a bit of pressure, like I said,
It's
I
nice to
expect him
see
to win
Sean
that.
Longstaff as well, isn't it? It's nice to see the local guy
Yeah,
doing the biz as
yeah,
well, isn't
he
it?
scored another
Yeah.
good finish by himself
Yeah.
on Saturday,
Very,
and scored in the Champions League as well. But also Dan Burns scored. He was another local lad who came from Brighton, from playing with Newcastle's U team. But listen, great win, and yeah, Palace need to pull their socks up now. I can't remember. Can't remember who they're playing next week, but Roy could be under pressure.
Yeah, absolutely. Jack saying, come on, Noel, lad, let's get the Reds some confidence and be confident. It's not like we're losing every week and haven't got a point. Up till the other day, Jack, we hadn't 1 and 2. Don't forget that as well. And also, I'd remind you as well, that wasn't a great performance against the 10-man Everton. I'd expect a much better week coming up now against Toulouse, and then we've got Forest at home. So it should be better.
But as well, yourself, because them derbies are tough. Everton are always going to make a tough game.
That's what I said.
It's always a tough game going up against 10 men. You're not only does Everton's game plan change, your own game plan changes then as well. The players have to adapt, and sometimes their mentality is, it's going to be a bit easier playing against them when in theory it's not.
No, absolutely not. Then, so like I said, I would have preferred Ashley Young stay in the pitch because the game was more open.
Yeah, exactly.
Being honest. Let's talk then. Forest 2, Luton 2. This was interesting for both of us, really. Chris Wood getting a brace, Anthony Alanga getting 2 assists, but also Albene getting on the score sheet.
It's good to see. Good to see,
and stuff like that. What do you make about this?
Yeah, look, Luton have started picking up a few points. I think, are they on 6 points now or something like that?
Something like that, yeah.
They've picked up but again, I said this a few weeks ago. If Luton want to stay 5 points, five. If Luton want to stay up, they have to be taking points off the likes of your Forest, your Sheffield United, your Burnleys now at the minute as well, your Fulhams and your Palaces maybe. They have to be taking points off these teams to be in with a shout at the end of the season and staying up. It was well fought, and I was glad to see Albane getting on the score sheet. His performances in the Ireland jersey have been good. Well, bar I don't know what happened against Gibraltar in the last game, but yeah, that's it, Deedles. Yeah, you hold on to that thought. Yeah.
Yeah,
but I think on the overall basis of the match I watched, I think draw was a fair result.
Yeah, Ted's in. 10-man teams usually harder to break down as they usually sit in. Yeah, 100%. Ted. It's always the way we now look at the trouble we had with Chelsea at Anfield last season. I think it was, wasn't it? As far as I know, I got 250 subs today. Big up, Jack. I like that. That's a big number, Jack. Fair play, to you. Chelsea 2, Arsenal 2. This wasn't one for the books that people thought was going to go this way. Chelsea basically dominant for nearly 75 minutes.
It was a tale of the goalkeepers though, wasn't it? Some of the mistakes. I don't know what was happening. And Araya got away with one as well. That back pass that he obviously got down on in the end and saved. But I don't know what Sanchez was thinking for the Declan Rice goal. Some of these goalkeepers, listen, just put your foot through it, get it into the opposition half. Don't be trying to, play out from the back. It's a great idea in theory, but it doesn't always work. It's safer some of the time. Just get the ball into the opposition half, push up, get your shape back, and go from there. But yeah, listen, from a Chelsea point of view, it was a good result. Arsenal probably disappointed. I know. Listen, Chelsea were winning 2-0. They came back twice, but going into the game, I think Arsenal will be disappointed with the draw in terms of the momentum they've taken into the game. But another thing as well, that was a cross. That wasn't a shot. That was a cross. I know some of the commentators are saying, he looked at the edge of the box and that's where he was aiming for. It was definitely a cross.
His eye line looked as if it was going across the 6-yard line, didn't it? It didn't look as if it was looking at the far corner. And from that angle as well, especially with players coming in, that's not like he kind of got away with it by getting the goal. But if that hadn't have gone in, I'm sure his own players would have been roasting him for the delivery.
Yeah, because I think it was
preface the game as well. I do preface the game as well. It was a horrible evening as well. The rain was
but I think it was Sterling was making a run in at the back post. That's who he was looking for. But obviously it looked in over the keeper's head, and it was a bizarre game. The goals were just bizarre, I think,
What have you made of Chelsea under Poch? Can you see what he's trying to do? I know he's had horrific injuries and stuff like that and all, but Cole Palmer's been sensational, isn't he?
He's
What a
been
signing.
He's been unreal. Like, as a United fan, listen, we've complained about injuries, but I think Chelsea have had a lot more injuries than we have had. They've had to adjust a lot as well. Cole Palmer looks an absolute, so like the confidence of him taking the ball off Sterling to actually want to take the penalty and have the confidence to slot it away like a seasoned veteran was, brilliant. The only problem as well is the likes of Jackson. I was expecting more of Jackson this season so far. I think a lot of Chelsea fans would have as well. He just hasn't hit the ground running as you might have expected. But you can see what he's trying to do. It probably take, like we said, with the injuries. I see Reece James was on the bench there the other day again. Coming back on and getting back into it. But the injuries definitely haven't helped him. But I think they will be dangerous once they get a full kind of fit squad going. And you can see the type of football that he's trying to play as well,
Yeah, he seems to be giving Cole Palmer kind of a free kind of license, if you like, doesn't he, to move around. And I'm kind of thinking, I know they got 40 odd million for him and stuff like that, City, but with Bernardo Silva kind of getting to where he is now on the stage in his career, it's kind of weird that City let him go, isn't it? It's a weird one because he'd be a serious baller at City, So
especially coming up through the ranks as well, there, and 14 million with the age of him could be a snip for Chelsea.
That's saying to Jack there, Jesus, somebody must have made a fortune off you. Absolutely.
All foot
how stupid could Fulham be buying Iwobi? Surprise me if they sign Maguire.
They won't be giving him over after. Yeah, I was just going to say after Saturday's performance, I won't be sending him to Fulham anyway.
Happy birthday to Richie's brother-in-law, Huega. I hope I pronounced that right. Huega. 48 years old today. So happy birthday. Pass it on.
Happy birthday.
Pass it on. We love those birthday shouts too. Saying that my Browski vid, what's trending of that little kid wearing an Al Hilal shirt. Nice. I like that. I might make an edit of it. Yeah, absolutely. Milk it. If it's going well, Jack, milk it. Any content that's going well, milk it. Saying that young lad last night who scored for Barca, I was watching. Yeah, I didn't see it.
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah, I was watching it on ITV 3 or 4, and in fairness to, they had done a minute's applause for Bobby Charlton before the game as well, which I thought was a really nice touch,
Yeah, absolutely. We'll talk about Bobby later on. We're gonna leave that towards the end of the show for obvious reasons. Who have we got up next? Oh, it's United, didn't it? United on the Sheffield United versus Man United. 2-1 to Man United in the end. Diogo Dalot digging is out there with a worldie. And Lindelof, of course, with the assist. What a combination. Dalot with the winner and Lindelof with the assist. Who'd write it,
Story of our season.
McTominay coming up with one as well. Bruno with the assist as well. But until McBurney went off, it looked like he picked up something. It looked like he was struggling as well. But I think if you look at Sheffield United as well, first 40 minutes, they were really, really good and in the game and probe and all that kind of thing. But sort of ran out of gas, didn't they, for one reason or another? Just hit a wall. United eventually wearing them down.
Yeah, no, I think first half we didn't play well at all. Sheffield United started off really well. They would have known how we started as well. Obviously, the last few games, if you watch us, we haven't started off great. And if we score, we tend to concede straight after scoring nearly, But I think in the second half, our performance in the second half justified the result, to be honest with you, because before Dalot's goal, we'd hit the bar a few times, we created a few chances, we hit the side net, and, you just felt it was coming. It wasn't the greatest performance by us by any means at all, but you just felt it was coming. And I think the second half performance justified the win.
Yeah, the thing about that, Jack, is Barca have to create players from their academy. Real Madrid can just keep on buying players. That's how rich they are.
Yeah. Did I see? Yeah, I was just going to say, did I see Rowe having another dig at United? Yeah.
Yeah, back-to-back wins and stuff like that as well. Yeah, but still, how would you feel about it at the moment with United? I mean, obviously there's so much crap going on, and then of course, what an emotional weekend was Bobby Charlton passing away as well, just on top of everything that's going on, Certainly they would have drawn a little bit of inspiration from that, but they still seemed very, very laboured. It still seems very, very forced. Very, very imbalanced. Now I know you have injuries and all that kind of stuff, but I'm not sure I'm looking at a situation where I still think Ten Hag doesn't know his best 11. And I'm not too sure, does he know either what formation he wants to play, or is he just letting the game unfold and reacting to it? Or is the message just not getting through to the players in terms of what way he wants to play? It's quite confusing there at the moment, isn't it?
It's probably a mix of all of the above. At times, we don't look like we're playing with any kind of tactics. It's like you said, it is laboured. It's slow approach. There's a lot of the times this season we've had moments. There's just been moments where obviously Bruno's goal against Burnley was a fantastic goal, probably the only kind of best chance we created in the whole game, and we just took it. Yeah, like some of the lads, obviously, listen, like I said, we do have injuries, but every team's going to pick up injuries over the course of the season. Like I said, Chelsea and I think a few other teams have more injuries, and it's about using the players that you have on the pitch, that starting 11, use them in the right way. And obviously, you're going to have different tactics against certain teams to break them down and beat them. But at the moment, we just look so we haven't gotten out of, second gear. It's crazy. And exactly. And it does really trouble me to see what way we're going to play against City, because we have. Yeah, but listen, I think Hoyland, to me, went off in the international break, and I said the week beforehand, he still doesn't look 100% fit to me. That's why I think he took him off the other night as well. Maybe just
still carrying the back issue, isn't he? Still carrying the back issue. And the thing about carrying a back issue, if you don't have surgery on, or if it can't be operated on, stuff like that, you can go for a run of games within a month and be okay, and suddenly put it out, and then you're gone for a week or two.
Exactly. And listen, there's only so many injections you can get in your back. You're gonna feel it at some stage,
Yeah, absolutely.
But I have to say, listen, Ted, I agree with you. But at the end of the day, I said it. I was coming home from work, and I was like, why isn't Garnacho starting? Why is Rashford starting again? Ten Hag doesn't surprise me in what he does. We all can see what's happening out there. Rashford hasn't had the best of season so far, but he keeps persisting with him. When Pelestri could be starting, Garnacho could be starting as well. But like I said, it's just.
Well, I presume in this case he was trying to build on the confidence of the English goal.
Yeah,
that's what I would assume.
Because
it'd be weird to kind of drop him after scoring for England and all on an international duty, So you were trying to build on that, but definitely when Garnacho comes on, it's a different energy, isn't it? It's a different look.
See how lively he was, even winning that free kick at the end, where the Sheffield United fan came on the pitch and was accusing him of diving and stuff. Like that was in the 90-odd minute. The energy he brings to the pitch, you always feel like something's going to happen when he has the ball. When he breaks against defenders, you can see the fear in their eyes and stuff. Like the pace of him was unbelievable. But I don't know what's going on. Listen, I want to shout out to Harry Maguire as well. I thought he had a fantastic game. I've been one of his biggest critics. I have to hold my hands up and say fair play to him. And he really had a decent game. He's had a few really, really good games. You can see the confidence has been building. And to be honest with you, I said it to my dad the other day. I think since the armband was taken off him, it's like it's a weight lifted off his shoulders slightly. It's like he's playing with a bit more freedom when he's out there. So I think that's going to contribute to it as well. And having Johnny Evans there, two experienced defenders, is always going to be a plus, especially with an Annan goal.
Absolutely. Look, I mean, the difficulty for Maguire is it's going to be a long road of potentially trying to perform like that on a regular basis to convince the United faithful about him, like that sort of way. Like, I mean, he was a brilliant player at Leicester, and he was brilliant, I think, in the first 18 months for us. He was decent. And then it's just the whole confidence of the club evaporated. This was not just a Harry Maguire thing. I mean, the Gea was making mistakes. There was so many players making mistakes. You look even there the other night, even you look at them, it's so. The play is so constricted and one-dimensional till you bring on a kid like Garnacho or a Pelestri or whatever it is, and suddenly the game livens up. You know what I mean? There's a lot of baggage on that pitch at the moment. You have Bruno, who just looks to me, I said it the other night in our WhatsApp group, he just looks banjaxed. He looks wrecked, and no surprise, you know what I mean? But I just think they need to figure out a better way of getting that. I like when those boys come on as well. I like the directness of them. I think that's really important as well, because I think once you bring on Garnacho, there's a directness to his play that creates 100%. A nervousness and a fear in opposition 100%. that doesn't be there when he's not on the pitch. I think with Rashford more often than not, and on the other side with Anthony as well, they're kind of more inclined to take the safer way or the
Yeah.
safer pass, and it makes you look very negative,
I agree with you there. Like, it's like defenders know what Rashford's going to do, but when Garnacho comes on the pitch, he's very hard to read. And just the Harry Maguire thing, I think what happened off the pitch when he was away on holiday that time contributed to it as well. You know, that sort of way you could see his confidence and what was going through his head had changed at that moment in time, you know.
Yeah. Big up, Del. Good to see you there, my friend. I was
Oh,
watching
yeah, Del, boy.
the other day. I was watching the show earlier as well, the Sevilla one. Good stuff. What's the crack, Niall? Big up, Marco. Make sure you check out Del's channel as well as Jack's and all that. Everyone's in there. Ted's and everything.
100%.
Hika, so we can call him Hika. So happy 48th birthday to Hika.
Hika. Where did the years go? Only seems like yesterday you were 47.
There you go. Come on, people. Harry Maguire, the like button. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Smash that like button and sub button and all that. And make sure you're doing it for all the channels in the chat as well. Support everyone. Big week coming up as well for Arsenal as well. Sevilla, I think, isn't it, tomorrow night? And you guys of Copenhagen. We'll be looking at the European scene after this anyway.
Yeah.
Wouldn't like to be the captain of a team. Too much pressure to put up with. Yeah, some people embrace it though.
I was just going to say that. Yeah, some people take it and destroy it. You look at the like of Steven Gerrard and Roy Keane and stuff like that. It depends on the character of the person. But obviously, the people I talk about, you don't get many captains like those two anymore, do you?
No, not really. I mean, you even look at our own Virgil van Dijk and all. He's quite a quiet kind of guy. You know, you see him even in post-match interviews and stuff like that. It looks like it's the last place he wants to be.
Yeah.
Now, I know when he's out there, there's a presence and there's an aura about him. But you see the other flip side of that when Robbo was coming and captained at times, he's absolutely screaming the head out himself and stuff like that. So, but then sometimes maybe that's not a good look either as well, because you want your captain to kind of be in control as well.
A little level-headed.
You want somewhere in between kind of thing, you know. That's why Trent as well is kind of like is an interesting voice captain, because he's just a quiet scouser lad in the team getting on with his game. You know, he's not. You don't imagine Trent Alexander-Arnold getting up in your mush and giving you, like it's just not that way. Sunday we only had one game, which is kind of weird considering everything. And again, I'm not going to go into this 12:30 kickoff stuff. I've worked at the death at this stage. Aston Villa 4, West Ham 1. Difficult one. Jared Bowen for West Ham, Alvarez with the assist, but Douglas Luiz going absolutely mad, and Ollie Watkins, and Leon Bailey even getting in on the fun.
Good finish at the end there, yeah. Again, I think this is similar to the Newcastle result for me. I expected Villa to beat West Ham, but I thought West Ham would have put up more of a fight in the game, you know. And in fairness, they didn't have the Europa League last week to use as an excuse, you know. So, but listen, Villa are on fire. You know, it's 1 year since Emery took over. Ollie Watkins again with an assist and was it Douglas Luiz took the penalty, wasn't it? I was wondering why Watkins didn't take the penalty now, to be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, listen,
I'll tell you why, because Douglas Luiz would win that row.
Yeah, true.
Very simply.
True. And he gets to go home to your woman as well, so lucky kid.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, you probably have to say it. I suppose between Newcastle and Aston Villa, they're probably two of the most exciting teams in the league this year.
Yeah.
In terms of how they're doing, and there's parallels between them as well. In terms of what both managers are doing, stuff like that. Howe's doing a fantastic job. So is Emery. It's just outstanding for him. Just to let you know, 75 minutes gone, still 2-0 to Tottenham. Nothing else really to report in the game. Right, let's get in. We have a quick look at Europe. So we have the 3 competitions this week, of course. We're starting out tomorrow night. Manchester United versus Copenhagen. Massive game. Do or die time for United in the Champions League, really, I would think.
100%. We need 6 points from these next 2 games against Copenhagen. You know, we're at the bottom of the table with 0 points. We need to be, like I said, getting 6 points against these and hoping the other match with Galatasaray they take points off each other, you know, so it's tough. Listen, years ago, you look at United at home to Copenhagen going, Jesus, 3 points in the bag, but it's not as easy nowadays. Anything can happen, you know, they could come out and nick a goal first and we lose our confidence, not that we have much of it, but it'd be interesting to see what team he goes for. Will he start the likes of Garnacho in a game like this on the wing, and will Højlund start? Maybe I'd say he will, because that's why he took him off early on Saturday night, but listen, I'm hoping for a win, obviously, but nowadays you can't be too sure. But definitely 6 points needed in the next 2 games.
Yeah, absolutely. Totally agree there. But I don't know.
I
He's in
scored a
great
few. He
form.
scored a few.
Yeah,
And the
he's in great.
confidence, you know.
He's in great form at the moment. I got that in. I'll take a look at it later. Good stuff. But let him know happy birthday anyway. Yeah, I think this is a huge one. I don't think he'll take any risks because he knows he needs to get the 3 points. And you look at Copenhagen as well. They were very impressive. They were so close to beating Galatasaray in Turkey, as far as I know, wasn't it as well? And I think they did well as well, didn't they? They were they home or were they away to Bayern Munich? And they gave a good account of themselves as well. So they're no pushovers. This is not quite. It's not quite shaping up to be the easier group that people thought it might be.
Well, I initially never thought it was going to be an easy group anyway. Anytime you have a Turkish team in there, you know, the home and away games are always tough, especially the away games, going to Istanbul and stuff like that. You're playing against Bayern Munich. Listen, we gave a good account of ourselves, I thought, in the first game. Obviously, a mistake by Onana and stuff like that, a soft hand. But, these are the 2 games that are going to make or break the group for us, you know, how we do against Copenhagen here tomorrow night and then away, I think, Wednesday week, isn't it? Listen, if we can go out and get an early goal and build on that, and then hopefully, you know, you're maybe 2-0 up with 70 odd minute and make a few changes with the Manchester derby in mind on Sunday. That's what I'm hoping anyway.
Round reckons all the away teams to win in the Champions League this week. That would be some bet, Round. You might be able to retire on that one if you.
That's because you can't bet on the Europa League, is it, Deedles? Because you are in it.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if you're saying Eric Ten Hag's press conference.
I caught a bit of it. I seen them doing the minute silence, and it was him and Dallo, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so. But did you see the bit where he said Sergio was back? I presume he was talking about Sergio Reguilon. But people thought he had said Sancho.
Oh, right, geez.
And it was confusing. And the way he said it, it sounded like Sancho as well, believe it or not. It was funny. But he said today, here's an interesting one for you. He said he vows Sir Bobby Charlton's inspirational spirit will be with Man United during their must-win Champions League clash with Copenhagen. So it should be interesting as well. And I'm sure with Sir Bobby passing away, it's going to be a huge event tomorrow evening as well. Emotion will run high. But he needs to be really, really careful because if that spills over, it can go south as well very quickly if you're not careful.
Exactly. We seen that in the anniversary of the Munich disaster when we played City. I remember we wore the plain red jerseys and they wore the plain blue ones. And I think the emotion of the day got us and we were beaten 2-1.
2-1.
So it can happen. I'm hoping it won't, but it certainly can happen, you know.
Yeah, there's a very fine line between harnessing that the right way and just letting it spill over and becoming too much, you know. And especially for some of those guys there, the likes of Rashford and stuff like that, those boys would have been around Bobby. I think was it Rashford when he was signing or something?
Yeah, him McClare, Brian McClare and Bobby Charlton were there behind him. Bobby was there to meet and greet all the new signings and stuff like that, you know. So sure we'll talk about now in a few minutes anyway.
Yeah, Mick Foley outside Anfield. How about that? Absolutely. Well, he's good taste, you know, hasn't he? He's good taste.
Seen that? What was all that about?
He was over for there was like a Comic-Con thing on or something like that in Liverpool. So he was at that as far as I know.
I knew that fall off the cage must have done damage to his head going outside Anfield.
Absolutely. Sevilla versus Arsenal, another big game for them as well. Poor result against Lens last time out and stuff like that. So they want to make up, but that's an exceptionally tough place to go to get a result.
It is. We've as a United fan, have played against them a good few times over the years and stuff like that. Exactly. So, but listen, Arsenal, I think, will have enough to do it. I did think in my head, I know Del Boy and Oz in here, that it might be a draw, because it is a tough place to go to as well. But Arsenal, you look at the squad and stuff like that, they should have enough to get over the line. But I think this could be a draw.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it pans out, but it's going to be fairly exciting as well. I'll be flipping between the two tomorrow evening.
Yeah.
Then we go into Wednesday, Newcastle versus Dortmund. The big games for Newcastle coming thick and fast. Dispensing of PSG in fantastic fashion. Dortmund might be a different prospect for them.
They will be, but I think everyone who's not a Newcastle fan are going to be watching those Champions League home games in St James's Park and getting goosebumps. The atmosphere is unbelievable, and I think that could get them wins in certain games. You hear the 12th man and stuff like that, and you think it's a cliche, but it can get you over the line in games. And Newcastle could sneak a good win here and have 6 points out those last 2 games.
Absolutely, and that would be massive, absolutely massive for them. And then
100%.
Man City are away to Young Boys. I'm not too sure what way this is going to go. I know Pep, sometimes he likes to tinker and stuff like that, but I think,
especially with the derby on Sunday as well, cause
yeah. But I think probably the Wednesday to Sunday gives them plenty of time.
It does, but again, I know I talked about us, but they've more of a chance of being a few goals up after 50 minutes or an hour to be able to make a good few changes and rest a few legs for Sunday. But you look at the likes. If you're not gonna, Alvarez is in some form this season. If you wanted to give Haaland the rest, Alvarez is just as dangerous. You've seen the goals he scored. He's lethal from a set piece. He can take a free kick and stuff like that. If the likes of Foden and all there, Jack Grealish and all, like
John
the list
Stones,
is
John Stones back in there as well.
Back in exactly after what happened to his uncle and stuff like that, and you could see the emotion on his face after the Brighton game the other day. For him to get back in and stuff like that. So, it should be a City win anyway, an away win by a few goals.
Yeah, absolutely. Jack is in. Mate, I'm so confused about this Usman Liverpool BS. Fabrizio said today they're fake, but sometimes he isn't always right. But Napoli's local radio said our interest is real and even put on pursuit for. Jack, I can tell you now, and I said to you already, this is Jude part 2 and the Musiala one is Jude part 3. We are not going in for Victor Usman and we are not going to pay the money. The talk is to get him out of there. I know it's been quite fractured recently with the TikTok posts and stuff like that, but the relationship is quite fractured, but he's going to be 120, 130 million out to get him out of there, and Liverpool just do not spend that type of bread. I know we went in for Caicedo and stuff like that. I'm not too sure whether that was real or whether it was a ruse, to be honest. But I just don't see us doing that. I think if we had 130 million to spend, 140 million to spend, we're probably looking at 270 million pound players. I said it before, even with potentially Salah exiting the building after the season and stuff like that. And I think Darren got it spot on. We might not necessarily replace him like for like with a player of his level. We'll probably look to bolster around the squad and put in something maybe, that Jared Bowen, something maybe a bit stronger than that, slightly up from that and stuff like that, but something in around that, and then just bring in a bit more strength around the squad and stuff like that. So I don't see it. Don't feed into that, because see those transfer rumors and stuff like that. They will destroy our brain after those 2 years of Jude Bellingham. Him and that was 45 minutes ago. Yeah, absolutely. Listen.
And it's only October. Any moves for anyone's coming in January, so don't get reeled into it too much.
And Fabrizio rarely gets it wrong. What about Lex Luger wearing that classic Man United jersey now? That's something.
Was he wearing one, was he?
Yeah, he was, yeah. Go into then the Thursdays, Olympiacos versus West Ham. West Ham doing well in Europe this season.
If they play, I was going to say, if they play like they did against Villa, you could see Olympiacos win there. I was expecting, David Moyes would expect them a lot more. I don't think Villa had beaten the previous 7 or 8 meetings or something like that. Like I said, I always knew they would, but I thought they might nick it by a goal, maybe 2-1 or something like that. But that's going to be a tough game. That'd be a really tough game. I could see that being another draw.
Yeah, absolutely. Brighton versus Ajax is a big game for Brighton. They have kind of
stuttered in Europe,
well, they've kind of stuttered a bit all season, really, haven't they? Not just Europe. They haven't looked anything like it. I mean, when the likes of the level of Caicedo and Basuma and Alexis McAllister and players like that are exiting the building, they're big players. They're not easy to replace. It takes time to bed in those new players and stuff like that. Joe
exactly,
Pedro is really good, but
And listen, I was just going to say, obviously, listen, I know Ferguson didn't start the first two games of the season, but when he did, he got into a bit of a momentum, and then he got the injury, so he reverted back to starting Danny Welbeck up front. And listen, nothing wrong with that. Danny's a seasoned veteran, and he's putting a shift for them, but it can change your way of thinking and tactics and stuff like that. And I think that's what's happened to them. And listen, it's their debut season in Europe as well. Maybe it's gotten a little bit into their minds and their confidence. But they certainly need something out of this game. I don't think they get it, but listen. Ajax haven't been great this season either when you think about it. So,
well, that's what Brighton have gone from, because they're second from bottom at the moment, and they just sacked the manager this evening.
Exactly. So, listen, I think they've had the last two matches abandoned as well, or something like that, have they? Ajax?
They haven't. Yeah, they haven't had a win in 8 games.
Yeah, so listen, if there's any time of the season they're there for the taking, it's now. But whether Brighton have the conads to go and do it is another thing.
I think Darren made the point, Jack, on the night that he can play both areas, but that he felt that he was more suited on the left. He's going to cost 50 million. I would love him in a red shirt. Yeah, absolutely, 100%. I see him when he scored a couple of weeks back when Kubu scored. He started twerking. Jeez, we don't need any of that. Ron, we don't need an Usman to come in. Defense should be a priority now. We're spoiled for choice up front. Yeah, I suppose they're thinking, Ron, 6-8 months from now, does Salah leave the building and go to Saudi? Does Liverpool decide to cash in on the 200 million? That's probably where people are thinking, with the likes of Musiala and the Usman and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, look, for me, a priority, we need one centre back at least. And I think we have to start having a conversation about the left side of the defence as well now. I think Robbo's on a little bit of a decline. He's been pretty poor. And Costa Simicas is not the answer there. Good Lord, when he faces Jeremy Doku or Saka, we're going to have problems. And I think we actually need a starting left back now, not just someone to give Robbo competition. I am actually in favour, and I know we just gave Costas a contract. I'm thinking we need to bring in a new left back. Robbo needs to be the backup, and Costas might need to exit the building. That's my thinking at the moment. Tottenham ain't staying top of the league for long. I just seen their next 5 games there. I wouldn't go that far now. I mean, they've looked very, very impressive. I think the only thing that might stop Tottenham slightly and derail them is if the likes of a Maddison or a Son or a Kulusevski gets injured. That's what they're going to need. If they can keep those boys fit, and they're out of the Carabao Cup as well and all and stuff like that. So they're down to 1 game a week now, aren't they? Basically, until the FA Cup kicks in. So they're not under the pressure that the rest of us are under. So that's sure a total package about the Man U jersey. At round, so we're going to play Gakpo right wing or start Ben Doku 17. Listen, I don't think that would be the case. I don't think that's what Rowan meant. I think what he was saying, the priority should be in defence, and I think it should. But it all depends on the Salah decision. Basically, that will change things greatly.
I like the look of your man Ben Doak. He looks a talent.
Yeah. He's still. I would call him very green. I think he's very green. He's very young. He's very fresh. But that kind of thing only gets knocked out of you with experience. But certainly he's decent, no doubt about it. Jackson again. Alphonso Davies reportedly on the radar of right mid, and for 50 million, we should definitely get our nose involved. Yeah, I think I read somewhere today actually it was 35 million or something like that. But again, if that guy comes up available at that kind of price, there's a whole shed load of clubs are going to be in for him. So we may or may not be the place to go. Liverpool, we have Toulouse, so shouldn't be a problem on Thursday again, and then we've got Forest at the weekend at home, so that should be okay. I think our next 3 games are Forest at home, Luton away, and then I think we've Brentford at home, and somewhere in between that, I think we've a game against Leicester. I think, isn't it, in the Carabao Cup? I think it is anyway. So I don't see next 2 to 3 weeks we should be okay.
Did you not play Leicester in the last round?
Maybe we did. Who have we got in the next round? Then I can't remember.
Yeah,
you're right. We did. Yeah, I can't remember who we have up next, but it didn't seem. I don't know. Can't remember. Yeah, absolutely.
In the chat there.
Yeah, I'm sure someone will drop it in there. And then Aston Villa versus AZ Alkmaar. I would expect
Should be a
Emery
home
to
win.
have done his work on that. But Alkmaar in
Yeah.
their last game looked pretty good, actually. So again, as you say, no easy matches.
No,
But Emery is
should be a Villa win.
he's kind of a European genius, really, isn't he, when it comes to
Big
these
time.
things? Couple of quick headlines just to pop out there as well. Obviously, we've heard that legendary commentator Martin Tyler set to return to the gantry 4 months
Seen that
after
for
leaving.
tonight.
Did you see that?
Tonight, yeah,
Yeah,
for Premier League Productions, yeah.
yeah, Premier League production. So that should be interesting, him being back. I thought we had seen the last one. I was hoping more than anything. What did you make of Oliver Holt's comments? He says the United of Sir Bobby's era was celebrated as England's team. Now there's just sadness over a club in decay. They stopped being standard bearers a long, long time ago.
Well, he's not wrong. But listen. It's like any club. You know, Liverpool had a great name for themselves before he's won the Premier League, even though he haven't won anything in 30 years. Now, in terms of in the country, obviously he's won the European Cup and the Champions Leagues, European Cups in the 80s and stuff like that. But we still hold a big catchment out there across the world in terms of fans and stuff like that. And obviously, listen, we won't get into it with the Glazers. That's another program and Sir Jim and stuff like that. But you look back in the day with the Sir Bobby team, and obviously we're going to get into that in a while. But a lot of them are English, so it's like the West Ham team. Back when Bobby Murnau was playing, most of the West Ham team were in the England team. So it's with all the players coming in from abroad, it's completely different,
Yeah, absolutely. I just, what I didn't like about this? If you're going to talk about his era and what it meant to Man United and stuff like that, there's no need to put all the other obvious shite that's in there that we know.
Yeah, of course.
It kind of felt like he was talking out of both sides of his mouth at a time where should be honouring a guy who's arguably one of the best English players ever, who won it all with United.
Yeah,
and all,
sounds like he's just looking for headlines and it's slightly a bit of clickbait,
Yeah, it felt a bit clickbaity. Like I said to you the other day, we'll definitely do like a tribute remembrance show on Bobby Charlton, but we always give it a few weeks. It doesn't have to be done the day it happens, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like it's very raw. There's family out there, and I'm sure he was on the decline and stuff like that and all. And I'm sure the families had to go through a whole lot as they see him gradually ebb away and stuff like that. It's not easy. We've all experienced it. It's horrible. So there's no need to fling out shit like that, you know what I mean?
It's funny, not funny, but like Dennis Irwin mentioned Sir Bobby on Thursday night at the Q&A. He was talking about how at the age of 63, they were in the new camp training the night before a game. Sir Bobby comes out on the pitch in his training gear and starts training with the lads, and he still had it. Now, obviously, he didn't have the pace, but ball at his feet. He said he was better than some of the younger lads out there as well. He's just a class act.
I'll say this again for the benefit of the doubt as well. We had this on last week's show as well. Liverpool are not signing Victor Osimhen. Let's be absolutely crystal clear about that. Don't get yourselves caught up into it. Don't feed into all that crap that's going around, because it's like the Bellingham thing. You end up just getting disappointed. That guy is going to be somewhere in the region of 140 million to get out of Napoli. He's going to tear a fair wedge of money as well in terms of wage and everything else. And that's just simply not where Liverpool shop. And the other thing I'd say as well, if Victor Osimhen becomes available, we're going to be 5th or 6th in the queue, at least. So don't read into it. There's no point. It just wrecks your head. The Geo thing wrecked our head for 2 years. Are we doing football Mount Rushmore pod one of the days? We probably will, yeah. I meant to say to Marky, coming up Wednesday, Pro Wrestling Weekly, we're doing our Mount Rushmore. So we're going to do our overall wrestling Mount Rushmore. And we're going to also we're going to do managers. And we're going to do managers, we're going to do tag teams, and we're also going to do our Mount Rushmore for top WrestleMania matches. So you can pick your 4 favorite WrestleMania matches for your Mount Rushmore as well.
Class.
So if you're not around, or if you want to jump on, if you're not available, throw them into the chat and stuff like that.
What time is that
at? 9 o'clock.
9
o'clock on Wednesday. Yeah, we're going to give away a few hats and shirts and all for some of the best ones.
Deadly. Nice one. Sounds good, yeah.
Seeing about James teaming community posts about his internet. I'm not too sure. I didn't see any of that. So, that's Osimhen's song as a tune. Yeah, absolutely. That's what my dad says, Niall. 100%. Next Level LFC is in. Welcome to the chat, my friend. He will need up. He will end up at Chelsea or Arsenal. I'd say Liverpool need a DM. So spot on. There's the conversation straight away, and that's kind of what we've been saying. The Salah thing might throw a kind of a spanner in the works in terms of what they want to do. But I firmly believe we will bring in someone there. Like, it's hard to find someone at the level of Mo Salah anyway. Like, some players are just irreplaceable at times, but they will bring someone in there. But I firmly believe if they get that monster amount of cash for Mo Salah, that cash will be spent upgrading and strengthening elsewhere and stuff like that. Absolutely. But DM and a centre back, and let me know next level as well. Left back, what do you think? Left back situation as well is starting to unfold a little bit as well. I think we need to go into the market next summer for a left back. Right, Jim Cornette is definitely in that Mount Rushmore for me as regards to managers. Don't give Anton away. You're going to be in the pot here for a hat or a shirt and stuff like that and all. So don't give Anton away. Most people have Jim Cornette in their managers anyway. Right, 100%. Let's talk about this, man. I'm not too sure, Marky. You can back up some of these numbers if they're right or wrong. I'm not too sure. Yeah. I wouldn't have followed his career near as much as you guys. I know Bobby Charlton and how important he was to football and all that kind of 100%. Stuff. And all. There's some of his accolades there as well. And listen, if I was to list his accolades, there would be 10 slides here. He's won it all and done it all multiple 100%. Times. And then when he wasn't doing it and he wasn't winning, he was in and around it. I'm not sure whether those appearances and all are right, but he had an unbelievable record for United.
Yeah, most appearances till Giggsy came along, and obviously most goals till Wazza came along as well. And I'm wearing my 1968 jersey as a little nod to him. But listen, he signed for Manchester United when he was 15, and he was some player. Obviously, if you look back at the clips, some of the goals he scored, they were all crackers, left foot, right foot. Dennis Law said whenever Bobby Charlton got the ball, he knew where Dennis Law was. He knew how to hit him with the ball. He was just a different breed, You look back at some of the pitches that they used to play on, mud bats, the ball was as heavy as and he went through a lot of things that players nowadays and before would never go through with the Munich air disaster, Obviously Harry Gregg went in and saved him, pulled him out the wreckage, the goalkeeper Harry Gregg, and he said he just remembered trying to take off for the third time, and that's all he can remember. And then obviously the interview with him, he said as well, when he pulled him out, he actually thought he was dead, didn't he? He did. He was unconscious, and Harry Gregg thought he was dead. But like that's a different breed, because going into a wreckage like that and pulling him out and saving his life, and it was you think about. I watched an interview with Sir Bobby before, and the first game after the Munich disaster was about a month after it happened. It was a league game which they had to play, and it was against Sheffield United in Old Trafford, and Harry Gregg was the only one from the wreckage to play. Obviously, Sir Bobby was advised to stay at home up northeast, and he defied that and went down to watch the match. Jimmy Murphy was in charge of Manchester United at the time, so Sir Bobby sat on the bench beside Jimmy Murphy. And I remember Harry Gregg said that he didn't know any of the players that were playing that day because they just put a makeshift team and they ended up winning. Old Trafford was packed. There was 250,000 outside the ground, just wanting to be close to the ground. And Sir Bobby sat beside Jimmy, and he says after the game, he sat there and he says, "I want to come back." Jimmy says, "You're not able." He goes, "I want to come back tomorrow." He says, "I want to come back home." And he did. And to think 8 years after the Munich disaster, he went on to win the World Cup with England in 1966 with that unbelievable team. Bobby Moore, Nobby Stiles, He won away with his brother Jack. And then 2 years later in Wembley, same place, to go on, win the European Cup 10 years after the disaster. You look at what the team Sir Matt built. He brought in a young George Best, a young Nobby Stiles, young Brian Kidd. He brought the experience of Dennis Lyon from abroad. And 10 years after, something that could wipe a club out, we came back and won the European Cup, and Bobby was the man to lead the team up the steps and lift the trophy up. And he was just an unbelievable player, but a great presence to have around the club as well. Anyone who talks about him will tell you, listen, he didn't say very much, but when he did, you listened. He was always there for advice before and after games, whether win, lose or draw. He'd always be in the change room with his black United blazer on, his white shirt, his red tie, and he was just a pure gentleman. I was talking to my mum. I remember being down at a match in the RDS, and I was asking her. I was telling her I was trying to find the pictures. I found a cap I wore down there, but I was lucky enough to meet himself and Dennis Law and Georgie Best and all, and they were just, listen, I was only 11 or 12, but you can always tell by someone's demeanour and presence and all that they're a legend, and obviously that word gets bandied around a lot, but he actually was, and he was so nice to me that day. I remember it clear as day, and I have got my picture taken with him, which is in the attic somewhere. I'll be able to go up and find it, but an absolute legend, man. And to be honest, I was watching MUTV last night, and I nearly shed a tear. I got kind of emotional watching it, you know.
Yeah, I think a lot of people got choked up. Warren from Warren's Team Talk, who does be on the show and does his own show, we follow him, of course. He was reflecting on a time that he met him with a couple of his friends, stuff like that. He said he was an absolute gentleman. I think anyone you speak to, he was an absolute gentleman. He was unbelievable on the pitch as a warrior and stuff like that as well.
100%.
As you said, in the blazer with the shirt and the tie, always impeccably dressed.
Yeah.
As you would know less than what you would expect and stuff like that. And you know, when I think of Sir Bobby Charlton, I kind of think of the certain players out there that would have played football regardless of whether they got paid or not. He just loved football.
Yeah.
He was a real footballing guy. You know what I mean? And they're few and far between.
Him and Jack came from the streets, you know. It was a coal mining town they came from. They were all hard-working, decent people. You know, you look at the train.
Probably at a time where coal mining probably paid more money
than football,
being a footballer.
Yeah.
So there you go. That's the choice and the things that you make, you know. But
obviously, he said it. Obviously, 2 years after he left United, he went on to manage Preston North End. He said he missed the game itself, and it didn't work out for him. He came over here. I don't know if you know this. He played a few games for Waterford over here and stuff like that. So, but listen, I've seen him videos of him playing and testimonials and all. And like I said, that story Dennis Irwin was saying to me and Billy last week about him training on the. I think Dennis told me there's a clip on YouTube somewhere. I must look it up, but he's in the United Umbro training gear and he's on the pitch in his Adidas boots. And he said that Sir Alex had surprised the team because just to give them a little bit of a kind of, it was a big game against Barcelona in Champions League, and Dennis said they were all standing there and they couldn't believe Bobby was walking out. He was out of his suit, he was in the tracksuit, and he actually got on and played with them. And he said it was just a brilliant experience, you know.
Yeah, big up next level. I like your thinking there. That Andre boy from Brazil looks the business as well. Ian Asho, absolutely, from Sporting Lisbon. And yeah, that Kerkez lad off Bournemouth. Yeah, absolutely. Not two bad choices at all. I like that. Nigel, who comes onto the podcast the odd time, he does be on Jack's Anfield Road TV as well. He has a picture that he put up the other day on Twitter with Bobby Charlton. They were doing like a summer camp down in Waterford. And he was on the pitch playing, and Nigel is there in all his playing gear, and so Bobby's there in the tracksuit with the boots and stuff like that and all.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool, you know.
It's great. And listen, he had his Bobby Charlton School of Excellence over in England, which found David Beckham and stuff like that. He'd done a lot of humanitarian work as well, and obviously he got his knighthood in 1994, and you know, just he was so unassuming. He never let anything get to his head, and like Jack would have been the same. Obviously, they didn't talk for years and stuff like that, but you could tell they were just working class lads doing something that they loved. And listen, he's going to be a big miss. Tomorrow will be an emotional night in Old Trafford as well. I was watching videos there today of the Holy Trinity statue outside with the flowers and the scarves and stuff like that, which is a nice touch. Yeah. And you hear, you know, like tributes from the likes of Bayern Munich and Barcelona and all these clubs around the world, and everywhere. You know, exactly. So you know, it's been a bit of a mad one. Like I said it to Yvonne last night. I got a bit teary and a bit emotional watching the programs. Even talking now, like, you know, it's it's such a big loss, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. And I should say as well, a big shout out to a lot of the teams back then in the league as well, because they all came together to support United in their time of need after that Munich air disaster and stuff like that. And sometimes a lot of that history is forgotten when you have younger fans and stuff like that. And the magnitude of that Munich air disaster, and to see those City fans doing what they were doing the other day is absolutely shocking. I'm not even going to talk about it. It's absolutely, the club should actually rally them all up and ban them for life. It's just like to be saying things like that.
But like the Munich thing, myself and Yvonne went over to Old Trafford on an international break. We just went over to I think we were going to see James Arthur or something anyway, but I brought her down to Old Trafford and we took a walk down the Munich tunnel. And if you don't have to be a United fan, if you're a football fan and you're around Manchester, go down to Old Trafford and take a walk down the Munich tunnel. It has the history of the whole thing, and even Yvonne kind of got a bit emotional reading about it and stuff like that, So I'd recommend anyone to do it. Like I said, you don't have to, it's like me, I'd go over to see the Shankly statue and the gates in Anfield. You don't have to, it doesn't matter. Exactly. You don't have to be a supporter of the club to appreciate things like that. You just have to be human, really.
Yeah, and that's the problem sometimes when as I said, when we're dealing with things like those City fans, stuff like that, the human element of it goes out of it and stuff like that. And I often talk about it as well when they're chanting Hillsborough stuff as well, that there's people sitting in the ground whose lives were changed forever over these things. You know what I mean? Have a little bit of respect and stuff like that. It's not much.
Even recently with those two scumbags with the picture of Bradley Lowry, like what an absolute scumbag to do that.
Like at what point do you cross over from being a human being to being that? I'll never understand. Jack was in there talking about Højbjerg off Tottenham. I wouldn't let him inside the gates, Jack. I wouldn't let that guy park cars on Anfield. What a state then Spurs fans acting like that. I've just won the Prem. That just shows how sad they are. Are they doing another lap of honour with kids and all? Are they tonight? I don't know. I didn't say Warren plus 9 equals the go-to. Absolutely. Warren's class acting stuff like that. And he got very everyone check out Warren's tribute to Jack Charlton. He got absolutely very emotional about it and stuff like that. And I think it's the older football fans like us as well where it kind of hits home as well, because as you get to our age, some of those guys that you grew up on that were household names and legends of your club are the ones that we're beginning to lose. We lost Pele, we lost Maradona. Bobby's in that ilk as well. He's in that conversation. George Best, that conversation. All these guys, you know what I mean?
It's like yourself and the wrestlers, because a bit of your childhood goes with it, doesn't it? Like all those memories you had as a kid and stuff like that as well. And it's just after this, I'll probably go on and switch on MUTV and see what's on. But what got me last night as well, in between programs on MUTV last night, they didn't have any ads. So it was just a picture of Sir Bobby with 1936 to 2023 and just silent. And I was just there staring at the picture nearly in tears,
Yeah, and it's a real nice touch and stuff like that. And the thing about it is, it's coming one day Kenny will pass away, one day Alex will pass away. It's coming, but it's as I always say to people, you don't lament your heroes, you celebrate them. You know what I mean? And that's how it should be. It's everyone should just take heart that it's, fond memories of Sir Bobby playing and stuff like that and all. Listen, I'm a Liverpool fan. Not many players are described as a Rolls Royce. Yeah, absolutely. Or what we could say, Ted, is maybe too many are described when they shouldn't be.
Yeah, exactly,
these days, as we speak about that word legend, banded around too much. CG is in. Niall, how do you go about getting the whiskey? The only way I can see when Googling is by collecting it at TIA, but maybe I am missing something. Paul, let me know. Are you in Ireland or are you in the UK? I'm based in Ireland at the moment, and St. Patrick's Distillery is based, I think, down in Cork. I got onto your man today, and he says he doesn't have, he has the bottles in there, but they haven't gone up on the web store yet. But he said to me, if I order a certain bottle of whiskey, it must be the same as the Shankly one. He says, just put a note in the comments, and they'll actually ship you out the Shankly one, not the standard bottle. So nice. There you go. If you need that information, CG, just email me, theuppertierpodcast@gmail.com, and I'll send you on, I'll forward you on the email that I got from the distillery. So it's not a problem at all. If you're in the UK, I think it's Hotel TIA. The Hotel TIA one, I think, CG as well. I think that was the launch of it. And at that launch, his granddaughter, I think, Jill is her name, and Phil Thompson and Ian Callaghan were there. They were going to be signing bottles on the launch for Hotel TIA. So I think that was kind of just a launch thing. I'm not sure who the distributor is going to be in the UK, but I know it's, if you go on to St. Patrick's Distillery.ie, I popped them an email today, and that's the information they get me. Their parents must be so proud. 100%. Bouncing up and down and holding each other's backs. Have you lads ever seen the ghost story about Bobby? I haven't.
Is that the one where he's in Old Trafford and the Busby Babes? Is that one? And they wrote a poem about it, Ted, no?
could
could be
let
wrong.
me know. Yeah. Kenny will always be our king. Absolutely, 100%.
Every club has one, and they should be appreciated by everyone, not just the supporters of that club. You know.
I always say to people, I say to people that the big thing you can do, especially if you have kids and they follow the club and stuff like that, is educate them always on the history. Yeah. Anytime I head over to the matches with Ben, as you know, I always lay something at the memorial.
Exactly.
We always go through the history and all that kind of stuff and all, because at times that's more important than the present, to be honest, because that's the foundation from what we were built on. Noel, who are you picking for the signing of the summer? Since we are nearly 10 games into the season, I'm still going for Dominic.
I'll go Madison.
It's a flip between him and Madison at the moment. I say Madison at the moment is probably just edging it. But certainly Dominic has been outrageous as well.
100% he has.
Absolutely, and unreal. Ted's in, that's the one. Yeah, there you go, Marky. That's the one. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I haven't heard about it. If you have a link to it, Ted, I'd like to read it actually.
Yeah, there is. It's very good. It's very well written as well. Yeah. Anyone anyone in the chat, go after this and have a read of it.
Yeah, I know my best friend Paul Bradshaw is up there with all those wonderful football legends in by the pearly gates in heaven. He absolutely is, no doubt about it. Some great conversations I had with Paul in the shop and stuff like that about football and stuff. And myself and Paul, Paul used to come in with Ian and all we talk about, Ian will tell you in the chat as well, all we spoke about really was football and Brock Lesnar. He loved Brock Lesnar. Yeah, he loved Brock Lesnar. Sabah's greater than Madison. Jack, you're not biased at all.
What's the name of that channel?
Next Level LFC. Thoughts on who the next Ireland manager should be, lads?
I said from February I'd like Lee Carsley, but listen, I don't know if the FAI can afford him, to be honest with you. Next Level, but there is rumours. I don't know how true or not, but I think he's going for the Lincoln job. That this Friday night is Damien Duff's last game in charge of Shelbourne, apparently. But he's been linked with the Lincoln job, who Jack Moynihan is going to be his last game for Shelbourne on Friday as well. So watch this space.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was listening to Duffer the other night. Actually, he was quite emotional.
He was quite
emotional and thought, and it was kind of.
Yeah, we can't be at the best of times, but it was different. There was something different about that interview after the Derry game. But the rumours that I'm hearing from pretty reliable sources that he's going to get the Lincoln job.
Yeah. It's a pity. It's a pity actually to see him go. And I know he can be like, it's weird to see him get emotional because for years he's just been so plain. Or kind of there's a tad of aggression in him, isn't there? Just a tad and stuff like that. He's very straight shooter kind of thing, and but it should be interesting. Yeah, Trent is great at Madison. CG is in. Good man, Noel, you're a gent. I'm in Ireland, so I'll follow what you said. Probably just as easy to drop them an email myself just to get a confirmation, and then I'll do the order. Yeah, absolutely. I said them I'd be doing an order on Friday for it, and they said just drop it in the notes. That's the Shankly one that you want. They gave me the name of it as well, so when they respond to you, they'll tell you it's actually this bottle that you have to order, and then just put in the notes that you want the Shankly one, and they'll ship it out to you, so it's great. Not a bother.
You'll have to bring the bottle on the show. Show us all.
Oh, absolutely! Yeah, we'll toast. We'll have a toast at Christmas, or we might drink a few when we're doing our deadline days. The way we do our deadline days. No, not biased. Not biased. Trent is greater than Madison. So Boz is greater than Madison. I don't.
Yeah. Am I on the Monday mashup or the Shankly sessions? What am I on tonight?
Tranmere are defo going down. Yeah, they're absolutely struggling, aren't they? And Maguire is greater than Madison. Stop now. Come on. Injury prone equals Madison. Jack, tell us this. Did James Madison upset you in a previous life or something like that?
I think he did by the sounds of it.
I know we're not happy about how that Spurs game went, but you have to let it go. You have to let it go at some stage. Richie's in. Miss my best friend. It's coming up to 2 years. Heartbroken. Yeah, listen, we'll mention him on the show when the anniversaries around and stuff like that. And of course, I'll be giving you the condolences and of course pass them on to his brother as well and all that kind of thing. But yeah, big loss, Paul Bradshaw. But look, he's looking down on you, mate. He's looking down on you. I told you already, we don't lament them, we celebrate the heroes.
Exactly.
Right. That's it, my friend. Another good show on the bag. I will be back Wednesday with Pro Wrestling Weekly. We're going to have our Mount Rushmore episode. We will have news as well. TNA is back, folks. TNA is back. TNA is back. I found this in the attic last night when I heard TNA were coming back. That's up there about 15 years, I'd say, at this stage. But TNA is back. We're going to be talking about that. I was delighted to hear that. I was in the shop today. I was playing all the old AJ Styles tunes and stuff like that, and that was pretty cool. So we'll give you our history and all that kind of stuff. Thursday, we're back with Thursday Tier Talk. As usual, big build-up, of course, to the Manchester Derby. We'll be involved in that. Friday, I'll be doing a preview for the Forest game. So, as we say, another busy week in podcasts.
We'll be listening to that on the airplane on Friday, because I won't be here until next Monday on the Blackpool. I shall send you a video from Bloomfield Road on Saturday afternoon.
Nice, yeah. Do a little preview outside the ground or something like that. Yeah.
Well, I'm booked into the bar inside the stadium to have a drink before the game, and there's a nice view of the pitch and stuff like that. So, keep your eyes open.
Nice bottle of that Shankly whiskey, no?
Oh, you never know. It could be hell. It could be hell, all right.
I can't get it. I'm in Merseyside, and I wanted to get my dad one for Christmas. They have it in Jack. They have it at a Hotel TIA. Down the end of the road there, just down past the ground. Hotel TIA have bottles of it, and they've also got signed bottles as well. So, but they're slightly more expensive, as you can imagine. That's the link for the poem there, Niall. It's been around years, but really hits harder now. Yeah, absolutely. I'll check it out, Ted. Thanks for that. Jack is in. Now he just acts like a knob, like tagging Trent at the England camp, saying, still asking for that replay. Yeah, but did you see what Trent leathered him back out of it and stuff like that? And all Trent gave as good as he got. Kevin Nash is on my Rushmore. Join us on Wednesday. Kevin Nash is on your Mount Rushmore.
Is that before he pulled the quad 17 million times or after?
He pulled the quad climbing up to get on Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Next level, you'll have to join us on Wednesday then. If Kevin Nash is in there, we're going to want an explanation on how Kevin Nash goes on your Mount Rushmore.
We'll be definitely tuning in for that and looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm not going all the way there. I'm across the water from Anfield. Okay, absolutely. Hang on. This is for your dad's Christmas present, isn't it? You should be willing to go that extra mile for your dad's Christmas present, shouldn't you?
If Jesus can walk on water, so can you.
Yeah, absolutely. Eno says, great show. And Jack's back in. So wasn't Trent. Football friends. Yeah, absolutely. Sorry about that. Keith is in. Need a quad Rushmore as well. Absolutely. Nash must have climbed up there, pulled the quads, and is now stuck.
Very true.
Absolutely, I tell you. Mount Rushmore of injuries or something like that. Until next time, folks, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification button, drop a like on the video, share the content, and support all the channels in the chat as always. We'll only leave it with one thing. R.I.P. Sir Bobby Charlton. Next time, cuz. Cheers.
Cheers, cuz.